Hello learners, in today's video we'll try to talk and address a very important and not oftenly spoken topic, which is your mental health. So it is considered that it is kind of a silent crisis which is killing the people all over the world and also especially in India, because there's a lot of stigma associated with this kind of issues of any human. So we'll try to understand and analyze mental health in the first place, and without that, without getting deviated from the exam, we'll try to see that how we can use this particular topic in our mains and coming to mains, especially in our essay topics. So like always, first we will see the relevance of this particular topic in our different GS papers. So in our GS1, when asked about society, we talk about Indian society, the issues related to your vulnerable sections, one can pose to you a question asking, discuss how mental health issues disproportionately affect vulnerable populations like your women, children and marginalized communities. See, often the upper middle class or the richer class, they at least are aware of mental health or psychiatrist or a particular trauma related anything, or at least they are aware of this kind of problems. But coming to children who below the age of 16, do you think children are aware of the mental problems? Do you think, there's a research found that every kid born in this generation or the Gen Z kids or born hereafter are associated with some kind of depression and anxiety, because right away from their birth, taking to their schoolings, in their home, everywhere they see is in the digital platform, which is generally imaginary. It's not the real connection. So that kind of problems, do you think children can address without a proper mechanism to talk about such kind of issues? Women. Coming to women, they already are going through certain set of problems. The mental health is kind of a burden. Coming to social empowerment, one can pose questions like role of addressing mental health in creating an inclusive and empowered society. So in this way, in our society section, one can ask about the mental health problem and relate to that problem with different sections of the society. And in our GS2, in our government initiative, we have a Mental Health Care Act of 2017, and also we have Telemanas, and also we have Kiran. Such kind of initiatives are there. So examiner might or can expect you to address that kind of policies, or what can be done more betterly, or at least simply to analyze such kind of policies. And health is a fundamental right. So discuss mental health in the context of right to health and broader framework of healthcare in India. After COVID-19, at least there has been a discussion happening, what is the infrastructure there, or what exactly, how much money is poured into healthcare sector. Apart from this healthcare sector, there is also another line which we have to talk about is the mental health. We will see the facts and data, how much it is costing the efficiency. If you wanted to talk in an economic perspective, this health crisis is costing lot of economic loss as well. So we will see with particular data. And coming to international comparisons, compare India's mental health infrastructure with global standards. Now and then WHO will recommend that every country or every leader of that particular country should make or should frame policies also aligning to your mental health. So they might ask us to compare how exactly the policies are running in the West. We see that in West and all, it's grandly spoken, or at least it's been discussed. So such kind of issues we can compare, and the examiner can ask us in that way. In our economic impact, highlight the cost of mental health issues on productivity and GDP. Like World Bank has estimated 1.3 trillion dollars, that $1.3 trillion of loss because of the mental health. So in the economic perspective as well, not just the society or not just some kind of concern, but also in the economic perspective, it's a big problem. And our SDG, our Sustainable Development Goal 3, SDG 3 says or talks about your good health and well-being. What do you mean by health? Is it only about your physical health? No, it's also about your mental health. Together combined is your health. So they can ask some questions related to this as well. Coming to essay paper, topics like mental health, the foundation of a healthy nation, or health is not just physical but also mental, can directly relate to this particular issue, and they will expect you to write that big essay on this topic. If you do not have a proper structure or do not have proper data related to this, no matter what, no matter how many pages you write, definitely it is going to look or it going to portray that it is a very generic in sense. So to authenticate your answer for such kind of topics or for such kind of issues to be addressed, you should have a proper notes which is mains oriented. Coming to our ethics paper, we know that emotional intelligence is a very integral part of the syllabus. Importance of mental health awareness in leadership and governance. Lot of times your emotional intelligence will go. Your IQ is very good, that is how you crack the exam. But what about your emotional intelligence? What about your EQ? What about the empathy? If you are not aware of the opposite person's mental health, you're going to do, or you will just walk like a robot. So there are many chance that they can ask you in ethics, and also they'll ask you to address the stigma and ensuring equitable access to mental health care. Mental health is not a problem of rich people. It is also a problem of the poor. When they do not have the basic necessity or do not have food for that, for that day to pass, just imagine the mental health that particular person. He or she will not give importance to what is running in the mind, but he will give importance how I'm going to get the food for that day or get the food on that plate for the family. So if you see this kind of issues, when poverty or illiteracy or this kind of things are there, that is directly impacting your mental health, and that will lead to some kind of antisocial behavior. So it's not just a rich man's problem, but every person of the society at every age, irrespective of gender, it's a very big problem to be addressed. So we will see the relevant data available with us. Okay, yeah, and also at the interview stage, one can ask you to say how can we have an healthcare reform and how well we can do the development related to health policies, and personal opinion also they can ask you. So it's very highly relevant. Before that, before seeing the data and all, we'll try to define exactly what is mental health. So it's not grandly spoken. Definitely we know, because of now and all we can see chikungunya, dengue, or TB or diabetes, this kind of diseases we can see. But do you even know that there are different kinds of levels of mental health problems? We do not know, because it is silently killing us. So we call this as a silent crisis, which is overshadowing by the physical health. Despite their impact and lack of awareness and stigma associated with it, there is an improper infrastructure. So it's very important that in public, in general arena, we need to talk about that kind of crisis. Stigma associated. What kind of stigma? When you say to your friend or your family that I'm going to visit a mental health doctor, they'll directly try to, they'll try to make fun out of you, that some kind of wordings and everything they'll associate. So you'll stop trying to seek that kind of help. So there's a lot of stigma associated because there is lack of awareness. And that is ultimately silently killing everyone in and around. So, according to Lancet Psychiatry 2020, around 14% of Indian population is suffering from the mental health disorder. And addressing that, 38 million are suffering from your anxiety and 56 million people are suffering from depression, which organization is telling? WHO in 2022 said that this many people are suffering. I'm sure that people do not know that depression and anxiety are two different disorders or two different kind of problems to be dealt. They generally associate. Why is this happening? Because lack of awareness. And how it is economic burden. Our World Bank is saying that there is loss of $1.3 trillion for the economy because of the mental health issue in between 2012 to 2030. Suicide rates. India reported 1,64,033 suicides in 2021 itself. And the gravest situation, highest number in globally. Globally, this is the highest number. It's a very unfortunate situation. And the age group is 15 to 39 years. The suicide rates are high among this because he or she cannot seek help because there is lack of awareness, lack of infrastructure and the stigma associated to it. So what happened? Access to care. WHO in 2021 is saying that per 1 lakh people, there are only 0.12 psychologists and 0.7 social workers and 7.5 psychiatrists. What is the suggested number? At least 3 psychiatrists, at least for 1 lakh people. Now and all we can see that there are fake MBBS doctors coming that I can cure that and this. At least fake psychiatrist is not present because lack of awareness, lack of importance for that particular field. People directly, if they wanted to join MBBS or do MBBS or do some doctor related work or studies, they'll directly go for something which is money making. But what about the mental health? Because they very well know that the traffic is not going to be there. The government is also and people are also not going to give importance to that. Now and all we talk very grandly about cancer. We talk about diabetes. Yes, that has to be addressed. But the silent killer, which is killing the population and also impacting the economy, this has to be addressed in the first place. And coming to budget allocation in 2023, out of our total GDP, only 1.3% was being allocated to the mental health infrastructure. And global allowance is 5%. So that's why we are standing highest globally in the suicide rates. So we'll try to compare, are we so worst or what is the global scenario? 50 to 60% is higher. India's treatment gap. So India's treatment gap for mental disorders is 70 to 92%, which is higher. Global average is 50 to 60%. So it is higher. In developed nations like USA and UK have better mental health coverage and they also have the lower treatment gaps due to robust policies and higher per capita health spending. I'm telling you, globally people are ready to spend 5% out of their total GDP. So because of this higher spending, there's a lower treatment gap. Suicide rates. According to WHO 2019, India's suicide rate per 1 lakh population is 12.7, whereas globally it's 9.0. Globally, and we are standing 12.7 per 1 lakh population, and remember we are the most populous country. Workforce disparity, severe shortage of mental health professionals compared to the world. If we see in and around, we can actually appreciate the scenario or the environment going on, not the whole scenario, the gender binary and all, not such kind of things, but at least mental health related or psychology related issues. USA is doing little better. People are coming openly and talking about their needs, about their problems, and also trying to seek help. In India, there's a general stigma that if you show your weakness or if you try to at least shed a tear, you are generally associated to a weaker section of the population. They'll tell you like with lot of names and all. So such kind of stigmas are there. That is why the workforce is also less. So, and coming to our mental health policy, we have India's Mental Health Care Act in 2017. We just have an act, but we couldn't see proper implementation because of very less resources. So what are the reasons? Main important and the priority reason is the stigma associated with it and the social taboo. Generally, people who tend to showcase this kind of issue or a problem, they are considered weak. This mindset has to be addressed at the highest cost. And that is why people will not come and they'll not seek treatment. If you see why, if you feel pride that there are a number of cases of rape reported less, that doesn't mean that rape is not happening. That means that people are not coming in the first place and complaining, because stigma associated. Once your pride is gone, it's gone. In the same way, if you talk about such kind of issues, people will generally associate it to weak. So, and also insufficient funding is there. Very negligible allocation. As I told you, only very negligent amount of thing got allocated of the total GDP. Rural-urban divide. Mental health facilities are concentrated in urban areas, that too in a very less number. Coming to our rural population, they do not even understand the concept in the first place. Lack of awareness. They do not know, first of all, how to recognize depression, how to recognize anxiety. They simply think it's okay, chalo, it's just a bad day, tomorrow will be a better day. But how long you're going to proceed this kind of thing? You need to seek help at this cost. And also COVID-19 pandemic, which led to our increased distress, unemployment and isolation during this pandemic, and directly related to the mental health problem. What is government doing? We have a dedicated act in 2017. I hope and pray that this act will work very, very neatly and get implemented. It is aiming to provide access to mental health care and decriminalize suicide. It's a very grave situation to even consider that suicide was considered like a crime. And also we wanted to recognize mental health as a right. And we have a national mental health program which was established in 1982, which is focusing to integrate mental health services into primary health care. It's very important and need of the hour. This should be the solutions or the way forwards in your answers. And we have a telemanus where we can have a telephonic assistance or networking assistance which is available 24/7, and this was being launched in 2022, and this is doing great. Whenever you try to call the number, which is telemanus number, we can see in the portal, someone or the other will try to answer the call. And also we have a Kiran helpline which is available 24/7. This was launched in 2020 for any mental health emergencies. If you feel the extreme kind of emotions, if you do not have any friends or families to talk to, these helplines are useful, and there are many private things also. So what can be done? First of all, we need to budget, allocate what world is doing. In the standardized 5%, we need to allocate that much amount to this particular important problem. And we have to decentralize the services like mental health infrastructure to rural and semi-urban areas. First, we need to try to spread awareness that mental health problem is also actually a problem which has to be addressed. And public awareness campaigns should be conducted like our Mano Darpan, which is focused on students, so that we can reduce the stigma and ultimately reduce the suicide rates in the country. So, also we need to have a mental health and universal health coverage, so that this thing will be very affordable and accessible treatment. And digital innovations, we have to use telephone or telepsychiatry too, so that the workforce gap will come down, and also when people will feel shy to come in person, they can at least get access, so that the stigma associated whatever is this will try to address it and come down. So digital innovations has to be included in this. And community involvement. We need to train our ASHA workers and the local leaders so that the mental health facilitators in the rural areas as well can be reached to the public actually who need it, or who are going through an extreme situation or like a suicidal kind of thoughts. Immediately these workers has to go and address the problem. In that way we need to train them. So we have two kinds of very pride kind of a case studies. One is our own India Kerala model, which has a robust community-based health program, wherein school mental health programs in the state have been modeled and trying to address the youth issues. They'll go to college wise and they'll try to talk to people or try to talk to students. So the Kerala model is a very successful one, and this has to be implemented in every state. And coming to Australia, an international example, the Better Access Initiative, it is giving a very affordable mental services through subsidies and significantly reducing the treatment gap. Subsidies and affordable, very important. We do not see subsidies in a very, what do you say, the product like situation only. They are giving subsidies in mental health. That important, this particular problem is given globally, and we need to take examples or at least inspiration from such kind of problems. So we'll end this by saying India's human capital and productivity are getting deeply attacked by this kind of silent crisis. So to align to our SDG 3, we need to first spread the awareness, remove the stigma, allocate proper infrastructure to this particular problem, and let people know that the government is always there, and also private people also should address this problem.